Hello everybody, good evening. Steffi here from The Makers. I'm getting slowly but surely dressed up for Christmas, so watch this space. Still a long time to go, but yeah, bit by bit I shall be getting a little bit more and more crazy. I just have to adjust my camera because it's really annoying me that it's not straight, so I do apologize. That's better. Yeah, I do like a bit of neat lines. Not sure who's here in the house to watch yet, but I find out. I'm just going to have a little peek. Fiona is there. She says evening all, and Leah says hello all, and of course we're here to see what you've had in day 2, because today's the 3rd of December and we're always 24 hours behind. But what you've had in day 2 of the Maker's Advent Calendar, and what your project, your kit would have been in the luxury hamper. Remember the luxury hamper? I just want to emphasize this again. You get 25 kits in there. I did the maths today again. I just think it was such an incredible bargain, and if we're doing this next year, I really think you should just grab it as soon as you can. There are 20 complete kits in there, and they average, the price, if we was to sell them on our website, they average about £20. So some might be slightly cheaper, some might be a little bit more expensive, and you get basically 24 kits in there. Now day number 1 was a luxury toolkit, which in itself is also worth £20. It's got our earth-friendly felting mat in it, some needles, finger protector, and a single needle holder, a coloured one, and that in itself, so I've worked out, so what was it, 20 times 25, that is £500 worth of kits plus the hamper. I mean, I think that's really, really good. So anyway, it's all gone. I can't sell it to you because it's gone, but I just thought it was a really good bargain. Ashley says hello. Tanya says evening everyone. Fiona says hi everyone. Hey Steffi. Emily says hi Steffi and all. Barbara says hello everyone. So just letting you know that I'm going to keep this unwrapping today and what we're making with it quite brief, because at 6 o'clock I've got shop with Steffi, so that gives me time to just switch things around quickly, and it gives you time to just go for a quick wee break or whatever you need, a new cup of tea or top up of your mulled wine or gin and tonic or whatever you're doing. And so I shall not hang around too long. And it's always slightly worrying because I put things out and then I don't know where I've put them. So please, where did I put that now? Just bear with me. Okay, I've got the rice. I've got the rice that I shall need for the next step. And I've got it. Okay, so let's start with the luxury hamper. In your luxury hamper, you had a complete kit to make this little chap. So you're making a penguin. You had a scarf colour in there, but it might not have been that colour. I can't remember what colours you're getting. There may have been a mix, but this used to be one of our kits a couple of years ago, and you can make yourself a little penguin. And that's in day 2 of the luxury, the felted Christmas luxury hamper. Okay, let's get this straight. Right, in your advent calendar, you got something like this. And you may think, what the heck? And that's okay, because I just love surprising you. So I'm going to show you, I'm just going to put this right against myself. I'm going to show you what you can make with it, and I'll go to the overhead camera, because I've been using it, I'm loving it, so there's no reason why you shouldn't. So here we go. There is the actual little bag. It is actually lined, which turns out to be really useful. So at first I wasn't sure, but it works a treat. So what I have made is my own little felting mat, and it's completely stuffed with rice, and I have been using it today. You can see there's a little bit of discoloration on it. I've used it today to make January's birthstone fairy. So I thought I needed a surface that's completely unblemished, that I hadn't ever used for needle felting before. Excuse me. And you can stab into these really quite easily. They're really great, and I think that lining is actually quite advantageous. Now obviously at some point you might completely disintegrate the Hessian here on top, but then it's not a big deal, because the rice is you can put it in your compost. I wouldn't eat it after that, and then you can get rid of the rest as well. So it's all quite eco-friendly and easy to do. Now, what you need to do to make your little felting mat, you need some rice, which I've got here at the ready. You also need a needle, a sewing needle, which I've also got ready, and you need some now I've got extra strong thread here, which I can highly recommend, because it really doesn't tear regardless how hard you pull. So I'm just going to get cut a little bit off, and then you're going to take this out. We don't want this string here, so if you unknot it, if you want to recycle it, knock yourself out and unknot it if you can manage, because then you've got two little hangers that you can reuse. So I've done one side. See if I can manage the other side. I hate undoing knots. I like untangling things, but don't like undoing knots. So just should work. Should it work? Yes. Pull on one end and then pull the other end, and you get two fair size hangers of natural hemp here. We're not using those, so you can put them to one side. And all you're going to do now is you're going to start sewing this up. So thread your needle, and I've gone one way and then the other way again, but before you go all the way, obviously you need to fill the rice in. So I've gone, I'm just going to see what I did with the other one. I've gone just below that seam where the cord was in, so that is here. So I'm going to secure the thread first of all. Could do this, you could do it from the inside to not have a tail, but I'm just going to go in and out and in and out around the edge. And then I'm going to do did I do a blanket stitch? No, I didn't. I just did a running stitch, because the blanket stitch doesn't look so nice. So I just went back and forth and back and forth. You can probably gather it and even do it that way, and then just put another one on top of it. And what I've also done is, if for whatever reason you've got some escapist rice corns, I have also sewn the very top up again, just to make doubly sure that there isn't any rice corn migrating out. So just bear with me a second. Just bear with me. Okay, I'm just gonna have to close the door because there's too much noise going on. Bear with me. Out. Right, coming back. Also, one of the dogs has just knocked my front camera, so God knows what you're gonna see in a minute. But here we go. Back and forth and back and forth. Speed this up a little bit until I get to the very end. So you're just doing a running stitch. Now this thread is really super strong, and I'm just going to we do sell this as well, so if you ever need a strong thread, and I'll just go round the edge again, and now I'm going in the gap that I missed earlier. So another running stitch. You could do a back stitch, but I think it will be a little bit less neat from both sides. Not that it matters really, I don't think. Oh, I've gone all the way, haven't I? It's the distractions of the dogs. Okay, we need some space to put the rice in. Okay, just undo my stitching. Sorry. If you do this, don't do this. Okay, remember you need a little gap to put the rice in. So, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a funnel from a little bit of card, so that I can pour the rice in, and then just so I'm just going to use some card like this. slightly round. So literally like a little funnel. So you've got a smaller hole at the front. Don't go too small, because obviously you need to get the rice through there as well. And I'll just insert that in here and let it sort of open up a little bit. It's looking good. My rice. This is what I've used earlier. So I bought a big bag that was it's 1 kilo, and I've taken maybe 1/5 out of it. So let's pour the rice in there and let that bag fill. And this is probably where you might feel a little bit, really, that much rice. Yes, you put an awful lot of rice in there. Just giving you the heads up. You really want to stuff it absolutely full. So get that to go in there. A bit more. No spillage so far. So as you get to the top, you need to be a little bit more. Let's just let that go in there, and then go into the, and it needs to be even fuller than that. It needs to be so full that you literally can't stuff anything else into it. So just pop my funnel in there again. This is what I used yesterday, this paper, to draw felting needles on there. Okay. Nearly. Absolutely stuffing it right to the top. You want it to be a nice and really firm bag. Maybe a little bit more. And then I see how I go with this. Yeah, that feels good now. So I probably should just close up my... So I guess that if I did another bag, with 1 kilo rice bag, I could probably make 4 of these. Just a couple straight rice corns. Let's pop them in there. And then I'm going to continue sewing up my bag. Obviously I have to go now back to the very end, which I just had to undo because I forgot to put to keep a gap to put the rice in. You have to have a gap, otherwise it's not going to go in there. So just going back here, finish that first row off with my running stitch all the way to the other side, and then so this bit I had already done, but then undid it, and now I'm going into the gap of the stitches that I didn't cover earlier, just to finish it off. It's quite a tight fit now, so it's a little bit harder to gather the fabric, and you don't want to pull it. It needs to stay flat. You're not pulling it like a sack. So make sure you go all the way through to the other side. Catch the whole, all the fabric. It is a little bit harder because you haven't got the looseness of the fabric now. It's quite tight. Oh, there's still some rice in there that hasn't made it beyond that sewn line, hiding in the top. And very nearly at the end now. Now, I love these felting mats, but they are rather impractical if you want to, because you can go bigger, of course, you can make big versions of it. They're really impractical if you want to take them somewhere because they're so heavy. So we used to actually just sell the bags, and then you could fill it with rice and zip it up, but we don't do that anymore because it is genuinely, it is a little bit inconvenient to travel if you're going anywhere with a really heavy rice bag, especially say you're flying somewhere and you want to take your needle felting. Then wool mats are much better, but
everything has its time and place, and if you have, maybe you've got some of these bags knocking around, you certainly can use the one that you've got at the moment. And now all I'm doing up here is I'm going to do a blanket stitch. So if you don't know what a blanket stitch is, by the way, I'm no expert in sewing whatsoever. You go in, and then before you pull tight, you slip your needle through that loop again, and that just gives it a nice neat finish. And that is sort of your safety seam, if you like, if something goes wrong with the seam before. And oh, I've got a very long tail, I need to shorten that a little bit. And then basically, once you've done this, you've got your felting mat ready to use. So there we go. Just nearly at the middle part, nearly done. So basically, in day one in your advent calendar, you've had the needles. Now you're making your own felting mat. And yesterday I mentioned that a lot of people last year, they said, oh, there wasn't any felting tools in the advent calendar. Well, you certainly have them now, and what's more, you can be really proud because you made your felting mat yourself. So it's literally just rice you need. Everybody's got rice in the house, but if you don't want to use your best basmati rice, then just buy a bag, cheap in the supermarket. It's pence rather than pounds. I guess you can use bulgur wheat as well. I don't know about lentils. I think you can use lentils. Try it out. No harm done. And yes, it's really quite strange, because the question that people would naturally ask is, don't you break a needle by hitting the rice? You don't. The rice disappears. You never really hit a rice corn. It just sort of magically moves out of the way. I've never hit a rice corn ever, not once, and I've stuck these mats thousands of times. So it is quite a strange concept, I suppose. And then you just get rid of that last bit of thread, and then you're done. So this is your felting mat done in a jiffy. Look at that. Put up the needle, and here we go. This sack is quite funny actually, because this sack is a little bit, is a different shape. I must have folded this in or something. I can't remember now. I think I might have folded this bit in and then sewn it up, but it doesn't really matter. So I obviously folded that bit in and then made it a bit more compact. But I think it doesn't matter whether there's a longer lip or shorter lip. I've forgotten how I did that. And if you're, oh, there's a needle in there. So felting, or let's use the penguin, is absolutely perfect. Other than that, this is a very fine needle, and I probably want a coarse needle for this. Perfect. So you can just stab away, and like I said, I've needle felted a whole fairy on it, lots of stabbing, and it's yeah, it's good. It's a nice little mat. You can make it yourself, and you have learned a skill, gained a mat, and know that if you ever forget your felting mat, all you need is a bit of Hessian or jute fabric and some rice, a thread, and okay, a thread and a needle, and you're in business. Okay, this camera may be really wonky now. Oh, it is a little bit. So let's move this. Oh gosh, getting worse. Sorry about this. Right. So I hope that this has been informative. I'm going to just check in with the chat here to see. I know this is the second day of a dog incident. I hope I'll get through tomorrow without having to leave this seat because of dogs. Okay, let's have a look. I traced my way back all the way to people saying hello. Oh, you like my headband? Yes, my very childish headband. It is so tiny. Look, it belongs on a child's head, but I do have quite a small head. So here we go. Loving the hamper, says Gina. Oh, thank you, Gina. I'm so happy that you love it. So yes, I mean, the hamper itself is also really nice to keep. And yeah, anyway. Deborah says hi all. Gina says sounds a lot better on the overhead camera. Oh, I see. Okay, I'm sorry about that. No idea why it sounds better. I will try and change it when I talk to you on the to the overhead camera, that it catches the sound.
Fiona says, I just want to ask if there's a greater chance of breaking a needle with the rice filling. No, it isn't. 100% not. Or are the rice grains too small to make a difference? I don't know. Somebody who's got a degree in physics maybe can explain why you never hit a rice corn. You literally never hit one. And no, you don't break needles more easily. I genuinely don't think there's any danger of that. What size is your needle? Well, I have used now a coarse needle. I'll just go back to the overhead camera.
I've probably answered all the question while you were asking them. So I'm stabbing into this now. And obviously there isn't wool on there, and it makes that crunch, crunch, crunch. And then if you want to stab something, let's use this. Wind this up into a ball like this, and then stab away. It's absolutely fine, and I can stab all the way through the shape. It probably in many ways attaches less easily, so that might be a good thing. But I think they're just nice and compact, and you can take them away with you. As long as you don't have too many, because I think there's probably 250 grams of rice in there, so that's a quarter of a kilo how much they weigh. And obviously if you go bigger, you can carry quite a lot of weight around, whereas a wool mat is so much lighter. But yeah, no, you can definitely, there's no visible damage done or anything, no fibers attached. There's a little bit of red attached, but I did stab that fairy a lot, so you can probably pull that out. In time they will get destroyed, so they're not as long lasting as a wool mat, but you know, it's and they're nice and squishy. You can maybe have a small mat and put it inside something if you sort of need to get a space. They're quite tall, so if you need to lay something onto it to get to it, like use the mat as a positioning platform, then you can do that too. And yeah, they're quite tactile and nice to
hold as well. Some people joined a little bit later, that's fine. When I started felting, I had a rice bag and didn't break any needles. No, this is it, Gina. Absolutely. Diane says, can you felt a design onto the bag and use as a gift bag? Yes, 100%. This is just a suggestion for you to turn it into something that you may want or need, especially if you're a total beginner and you haven't got a felting mat. Then use these bags. Of course you can decorate them and use them as a gift bag, absolutely. And we have covered that in previous advent calendars, where you can needle felt a little decoration onto there. Don't see why not. Absolutely. I didn't know you could do this. What a great idea, says Emily. Well, there you go. Now this is not something new. We've done this a few years ago, and yeah, so it is just something. Sometimes I forget that you haven't always been with me, so I'm digging out some of the older ideas which are just as useful, and they may just work for somebody. Maria says, I made one of these but much bigger a few weeks ago. My bag wasn't lined. Will that be okay, or does it need to be lined? No, it doesn't need to be lined at all. I just sort of thought, at first I thought the lining might actually get in the way, but as it turns out, it's not a hindrance, and it works without it as well. So Barbara says, I always craft with at least 2 dogs. Well, try 4, which is what I've got at the moment. I love dogs, says Emily. Yes, I love them too. Pussycats all the way, says Fiona. Yes, I love cats too. And Diane has just joined and she says hi all. So I'm gonna go now, because in 4 minutes time I will be back exactly where you are right now, on this very platform, on this very screen. But I've got to change a few things around, and you need to head to the other event, or just wait until I'm live and then you can join me. And it's Shop with Steffi. Yay! Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, I'm going to completely switch my brains around now, and don't talk about Advent Calendar or anything like that, but talk about some exciting new things that are happening. And I've got a really special, super special offer for you, which doesn't cost you anything extra. So let's say goodbye and move on to the next bit. And I'll see you tomorrow with the unwrapping, unboxing, whatever, of day 3. Bye.